The 8th Legion, the Night Lords. The Night Lords are the most sinister, most twisted space marines in the 40k universe. Even before the Horus Heresy, they were brutal murderers, flaying their enemies alive on broadcast to make planets surrender. All Space Marine legions were to be a cog in the machine of the Great Crusade, and each legion served its own niche role. Most Marines, such as the Imperial Fists, Ultramarines, and Dark Angels, were akin to knights in shining armor, while others were geniuses of guerrilla warfare, such as the Raven Guard and the Alpha Legion. Some were ferocious killing machines, such as the Space Wolves and the World Eaters. Each legion was incredibly unique in their own way and were made for specific reasons. The Night Lords were not only created to aid in the taking of planets, but were the key to keeping them. Loyalty became a fragile thing very quickly to the mind of many humans. Once given comfort, many governors and populations soon forgot the horrors of life without the Emperor's Imperium. During the early days of the Great Crusade, there was a planetary governor who betrayed the Emperor. The Emperor's only response to learning of this treachery was, "Send the 8th." When the 8th Legion arrived, they did not drop down from the skies with blazing thunder, tanks and guns abroad. They sent only a few units of Marines into the capital city. Once in the city, they captured and tortured every single inhabitant. They broadcasted this to the rest of the planet, causing mass surrender out of extreme fear. The 8th are not gleaming warriors, clad in honor and striving for glory. They are justice, the vengeful spite of the Emperor, clad in midnight blue. Their primarch, Conrad Kurz, was always a man of justice. He firmly believed in the ends justifying the means. He grew up upon a planet in which had no sun, Nostromo. Locked in eternal darkness, he stalked the streets, witnessing murders, rapes, and thievery on the daily. As he matured in strength and mind, he soon took to vigilantism, hunting these scum every day and flaying them, transmitting their screams of agony throughout the cities. Eventually, he brought his planet to heel, taking control as the Night Haunter. A thing of myth and legend, the people lived in constant fear, for if a crime was to be committed, he would come for you, and he would find you. Conrad prided his ways of war as being far more moral than the other legions. His invasions caused a minuscule amount of casualties, no destroyed buildings, and a very quick surrender. In this he was correct. He did not value things like honor or chivalry. Justice was his only objective. Unfortunately, his legions did not share these beliefs. While Conrad did what he did because he saw it justified and necessary, his sons did it because they liked it. The Night Lords reveled in the slow, agonizing killings they committed. They loved it. Each Night Lord recruit is taken from the Dungeons of Worlds, originally being Terra, before they were reunited with Kurz. These men were already the scum of Earth, but once recruits started coming from Nostromo, they made the early recruits look like petty criminals. They were bloodthirsty, evil psychopaths, every single one of them, and Conrad hated them. He hated his legion for their morals, he hated the Emperor for creating him and his legion, he hated everything. To show an example of his sons being murderers and Conrad's hate for them, we can look at a conquest called the Karnai Retribution, a joint effort of the Raven Guard and the Night Lords. During the end of this conquest, Conrad found some of his sons murdering civilians, and in response to this knowledge, he slaughtered them, down to every last man. Then Orbital bombarded the area to erase all evidence of the murderers. After this event, Kurz went to bombard his homeworld, and purge the legion of the ones he did not see fit. He sent Sevetar to every ship that did not obey these orders, and had him slay the captains. We'll talk about Sevetar shortly. After this, the Night Lords participated in the drop site massacre upon Istvan, in which we'll discuss in a future video. Kurz was already deemed rebellious before the heresy began, and sided with Horus with little resistance, his sons reveling in the opportunity to hunt space marines. We will go over the Horus Heresy another day, but Conrad fought with many primarchs and was one of the most skilled combatants of them all, engaging in combat with the Lion, as well as saving Lorgar from Korax. They came under the guise of loyalists, but along with their traitor brethren, cut down the loyal space marines upon the planet. In the aftermath, Conrad dispatched them to the eastern fringe of the galaxy in order to delay the Dark Angels from reaching Terra. For 3 years, Angel and Bat fought amongst the sector until Conrad called for a parley with the Lion. They met upon a dead world in which negotiations broke down quickly, and Kurz almost slew the Lion if it were not for one of the Dark Angel paladins ramming a sword through Conrad's back as he strangled El'Johnson. Both primarchs fled along with their surviving escorts. Later in the war, the Dark Angel sprang a trap, destroying a quarter of the Night Lord's fleet. The Night Haunter and the Lion dueled once again, but this time the Lion dealt 11 fatal wounds to Conrad, sending him into a coma and forcing his troops to save their father and retreat. After the heresy, Conrad was assassinated. It is debated by some whether he is still alive or not, but the recent Primarch book makes it seem very likely that he was indeed killed. Kurz allowed the assassin to stride through his fortress and into his chambers, and willingly let her slay him. We will go much more in depth with the Primarch of the 8th in the future. This has not stopped the Night Lords, though. In the 40th millennium, they have become even more unhinged. Their Primarch not there to criticize them or restrain them. They have free range of the galaxy, hunting loyalists and Xenos alike. They are the most feared legion within the galaxy, and now that Cadia has been destroyed, they can go essentially wherever they want, hunting and stalking through the galaxy. The Night Lords do not worship the Chaos Gods. They never cared about such things, but the forces of chaos allow them to do whatever they want, and if anything, they encourage it. Yet aside from this, they are relatively pure legion, chaos corruption-wise. Perhaps the most notable character from the 8th is Sevetar. Conrad proclaimed this man to be his only true son. Harboring psychic ability, Sevetar seemed to be always right, his abilities giving him some sort of foresight or instinct. This in turn led to many squabbles between fellow commanders, his brothers getting increasingly annoyed at him, always being right. Sevetar restrained these powers, never letting them come to real fruition. Sevetar was one of the only shreds of sanity in the Legion, also being the only one to witness Conrad's prophetic episodes. He had a similar gift of foresight, but as the heresy drew closer and closer, Conrad would have violent fits of prophecy where he would be rendered unconscious. He knew about the heresy before it happened, and it brought him extreme amounts of rage and sorrow. But back to Sevetar. Before the battle on Istvan, which we will talk about in a later video, Sevetar was the very first to shout the phrase that would shake the galaxy for millennia to follow: "Death to the false emperor." Sevetar wears a cape of flayed faces and bears red gauntlets. He has revealed that he wears them due to an old Nostroman tradition. The hands of traitors and fools are tattooed with red, symbolizing that they have been sentenced to death, but still have tasks to complete. Sevetar is marked for death at a certain time of Kurz's deciding. When asked if he is a fool or a traitor, Sevetar answered with both. When Conrad fell to the Lion, Sevetar took over the Legion, slaughtering any who opposed him. He split the Night Lords into 6 great companies and tasked them with forever harassing and battling the loyalist legions, beginning the Long War. Using the flagship of the Night Lords, the Nightfall, he distracted the Dark Angels, allowing the companies to escape. While Conrad lay dying within the Apothecarium, Sevetar stops holding back his psychic powers and allows them to come to fruition in order to make contact with his comatose father. Doing this, he discovers that he can talk with the dead. Sevetar pushes into the Primarch's mind, goading him into wakefulness. He eventually gets Kurz to wake up, and they board the Dark Angel's flagship, the Invincible Reason. During the boarding action, many Night Lords were slain, and Sevetar was imprisoned within the ship. He eventually reaches out his mind to an astropath upon the ship, the Invincible Reason, and she ends up helping Sevetar heal his mind, as it was greatly damaged and plunged into madness when he unlocked his psychic ability. Sevetar learns the astropath had her spine broken by the choir master, and eventually ends up escaping his cell and killing the master. His final recorded words within the Warhammer universe are, "I am justice, I am judgment, I am punishment." There has not been any talk of him since, and we are completely unsure as to where he is in the 41st millennium or if he is even alive. In Kurz's final days of despair and insanity, he's only brought further sadness, calling out for Sevetar only to be met with nothing. His legion believing him to be dead and not even knowing how or where he died. And with that, we end the history and lore of the Night Lords. If you guys would like me to go more in depth and do some more research on them, I would love to, but I hope I covered a satisfactory amount of their narrative. They are truly the most sinister and terrifying beings in the galaxy. Now let's try to become one with the workout. For the workout, we'll be focusing on explosive energy for chasing down prey, as well as leg power for jumping over any obstacles in the way of said prey. After this, we will be doing some forearm work to get the strength to flay our unfortunate captives, as well as some chest and back work to tear our enemies apart. So the workout will be as follows. Alright lads, there's the workout. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope you can try it at home or at the gym. If you guys liked the video, leave a like and a comment and show it to your friends. If you guys enjoyed the Night Lord's lore, then let me know. There's lots more characters and lots of stuff that we can go into depth with them in the future. So stay tuned for that. But for now, I love you guys. Work hard out there and stay jacked.